You're watching Lost Ledger, where the truth always finds a way to surface. Tonight, we dive into a chilling Michigan mystery, one that went cold for over 3 decades, until a single forgotten vial of blood brought long-awaited justice. This is the story of Gayle Barrus, a devoted mother, a tragic victim, and a name that nearly vanished from police records. It was October 9, 1988, in Battle Creek, Michigan. 30-year-old Gayle Barrus was a single mother, trying to build a stable life for herself and her children. Friends described her as kind, hard-working, and a woman who always put her kids first. That Sunday evening, Gayle stopped at a local coffee shop, Sweet Dreams Cafe, to meet some friends. Witnesses say she was last seen talking to a tall, dark-haired man. She appeared relaxed, unaware that this would be the last time anyone saw her alive. When Gayle didn't return home that night, her family knew something was wrong. She wasn't the type to just disappear. A missing persons report was filed immediately, but there were no clues, no suspects, and no sign of Gayle. 2 weeks later, on October 23rd, hunters walking through a wooded area near the Battle Creek River made a horrifying discovery. Partially hidden beneath leaves and brush lay the body of Gayle Barrus. She had been brutally stabbed multiple times, a violent and personal attack. Her clothes were disheveled, and signs pointed to a struggle. Investigators quickly identified a possible suspect, Roger Plato, a 32-year-old man with a history of sexual assault. He matched the description of the man seen with Gayle that night. But before police could question him, fate intervened. During a confrontation with law enforcement just days later, Plato pulled a gun. Police fired back, killing him instantly. With his death, the trail went cold. For decades, the case sat unsolved, one more file collecting dust in the archives of the Battle Creek Police Department. In 2018, Detective Scott Marshall decided to reopen the Barrus case. Advancements in forensic DNA technology had been solving decades-old crimes across the country, and he wondered, could Gayle's killer finally be found? Detectives tested every piece of preserved evidence, but the DNA didn't match any living suspect. Plato had been cremated years earlier, and without his DNA on file, the case seemed to hit another dead end. Then came the breakthrough. In 2020, while reviewing old evidence, Marshall discovered something extraordinary: a small vial of Roger Plato's blood, collected during his autopsy in 1988 and stored deep in the archives. It was pure luck that it had survived decades of storage and transfers between labs. That single vial was enough for modern testing, and the results were undeniable. The DNA matched the evidence found on Gayle Barrus' body. After 33 long years, the truth was confirmed. Roger Plato had murdered Gayle Barrus. For Gayle's surviving family, it was bittersweet justice. They had lived through decades of uncertainty, wondering if her killer would ever be found. Although Plato could no longer face trial, the confirmation brought long-overdue peace. Detective Marshall later said, "Sometimes justice isn't about punishment, it's about knowing the truth." And Gayle Barrus finally got her truth. A single forgotten vial of blood, buried in an evidence locker for 33 years, solved a mystery that haunted an entire community. Here at Lost Ledger, we tell the stories time tried to erase. Because the past always finds its voice. If you believe every mystery deserves its ending, like, share, and subscribe to Lost Ledger, the ledger where truth is finally recorded.